Okay, so I'm excited because as I mentioned in the previous video, talking with my business partner, we really need to find a solution to day labor. So, long story short, as you may have heard in the other video, we have an issue where sometimes we have team members call out and it's very hard to fill their role for the day. So, we're thinking about building a day labor marketplace that will help us solve this problem. But the biggest thing is also we don't want to step into staffing agency territory because that's very highly regulated. So we want a lightweight day labor marketplace. So we're going to use Claude to help us achieve that. All right. So let's start by asking, hey Claude, would like to make a day labor market that does not step into the lane of a staffing agency. How can we start to develop this as a web or mobile app? All right, let's see what they're saying. The must-have features, how it makes money, because we want to monetize eventually. Then the clean one-page spec we can hand to AI coding. Okay, so step one, they're asking, who is this for? The one core problem that it solves. And their thinking is that marketplace has two sides. One side has to be urgent, painful, recurring problem that gets to show up front. We designed the whole product around that side's pain. So the real question is who uses this? It's whose hair is on fire right now. See, the employer restaurant, dishwasher, sold 2 hours. All right. Okay. So when you picture the first version succeeding, whose problem is it solving in that moment? Biggest problem I'd say is going to be the employer. And the reason why is the employer is willing to pay for this. The team member or the employee looking for work, they have a lot of different options, but the employer is the one that really needs the day labor in that moment. So we're going to say the employer. And looks like Claude agrees. Okay. So we build for the employer first. We're building for the person that feels cute. All right, folks. So you guys see what we're doing here? We'll kind of get a sense of how Claude is going to help us build the app. So this is just nothing more than a strategy session where we go through and try to figure out exactly how this app should operate. Okay, so moving on to question or step number 2. Would you frame the core pain differently? Cost, quality of worker, or something else? I'd say, and tell me what you guys think in the chat, my thought here is that the real issue here is that we need to fill the shift. So the money definitely costs, but at the end of the day, if we have a commitment to our client or a business has a commitment to the client, the money is secondary. So we have to fit within a certain range. So let's say, for instance, the team member makes between $15 and $20 an hour. We can't go up to 25, but we also can't sit there and say, hey, we got to find someone for 15. We got to work within that range. So we're in this situation, assuming that the pay range is 15 to 20, we would have to push towards a 20 just to get the team member out there because we can't not have a team member to fill the role for our client. So I'm going to say in this situation, speed and reliability is what we're really looking for. So speed and reliability is my first thought. All right, so now they're asking us step 2, marketplace versus staffing agency. And we know we want to do marketplace, not staffing agency. In an ideal world, staffing agency would be great. But the fact of the matter is, as we can see here that Claude's explaining, what happens is if we do go the route of staffing agency, there's a lot more legal requirements and things like that. So we'd rather have it more like a Craigslist, almost like a, hey, is anyone available to work? Okay, kind of keep it lightweight as much as possible. So I'm looking through right now just to see, is there anything here that will push us towards staffing agency as opposed to just a regular marketplace? Because staffing agency, once again, will be a whole nother line of business that we're not trying to go into right now. As you can see here, they say staffing agency means payroll taxes, workers' comp, unemployment insurance, wage and hourly liability, state licensing compliance. It's a whole business. And like they're saying here, it would crush a lightweight app. So let's see. So as they say here, we're deliberately refusing the features that look the most profitable, which is fine because our primary goal here is not to enrich ourselves. Of course, we want to monetize eventually, but it's not the primary goal. The biggest goal here is to provide to provide job opportunities to either our business or other businesses around. So we keep it very much lightweight. So they say here, never employer pay the worker, never charge the worker, stay a pure connector, which is very important in building this app. We never want to trade the line of anything more than a connector. All right, so let's see. Are you fully comfortable with the platform? Never touch the weight? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's keep it lightweight so it serves our intended need. All right, folks, we're almost there. We're pushing through to step 5. Let's see. Okay. So now they're giving us an idea of, okay, what are we going to include in this app based off of what we told them we want to do, what we don't want to do. So a brief highlight is, you guys can read here, browse available shifts. So the pay showing up front on each card. So that's great. So they can see what shifts are available at either our business or other businesses. Shift detail page with two-way ratings, which is very important for a marketplace, right? We want the employer and the employee to realize there's some level of accountability, and that's how we bring in two-way ratings. Post a shift for employers, making sure that employers can post a shift, obviously. Tiered employer subscriptions, and this is going to be important when monetization comes in. So what can employers do and what can they not do within the marketplace? So we'll have a free, starter, and pro, and we'll structure that so employers have better options with pro or more generic options when it comes to free. Now, featured book listing, once again, for monetization, that's very important. Not thinking too much about monetization right now because we want to actually get the function of the app flowing. However, it is and will be very important to know how we're going to monetize this app, because anytime we have team member or any level of involvement in a project, we have to make sure we can at least offset that with monetization or with funds. Okay, so what's out? So no cut of wages. We're not trying to get any money off of placing people. That would fall into staffing territory. No payment handling. We don't want to get involved in any kind of payment, be middle parties to that at all. No vetting or guaranteeing workers. Hey, what you get, we're not saying that anyone's amazing or great. We're just providing the opportunity for folks to join in on the website. And no scheduling the work. We don't schedule the work. The employer makes the schedule. The team member comes on and says, hey, I can work this. And that's kind of how it works. So let's see what they want to flag. One thing I flag for you to decide: worker accounts. Workers need some lightweight identity receive rated and apply, but keep it minimal. The instant you add background checks or certification, you start vetting. Where's your gut? We're going to go bare minimum, because as I said once before, this is nothing more than, imagine an employer meets a possible employee or team member out in the street or whatever. They don't know much about this person, so they do their level of vetting. We're not going to do the vetting, at least not right now. Now, in the future, if we grow the app, grow the business, then we'll look into it. But for now, purely lightweight, trying to identify quick candidates that can come in and fill gaps as needed. All right, step 4, how to make money without ever touching a wage transaction. So this is the monetization ideation. This is where we're talking about how we're going to monetize in the future. So let's see. Claude recommends charge for visibility and access on the employer side, never for the labor itself. You're selling reach into your worker pool, not the workers. Here's how the three levers work together. Okay, so they're recommending subscription tiers: free, starter, and pro. So free is one active post for an employer, enough for a tiny operator to feel the value and trust it works. Starter is a handful of concurrent posts plus basic visibility for a busy single location. And pro is going to be our higher or unlimited post priority placement, maybe multi-location or team seat for caterers and groups filling shifts constantly. So we're not gating the quality. So in other words, we don't want to say, hey, if you have a free tier, you're not going to get a qualified applicant. We're not doing that. Our whole thing is we're going to just limit it to the amount of posts they can make. And I think this is a good start for monetization. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments, and maybe we'll make changes based on what you think. But these are my initial thoughts. So let's see what we have here. They're talking about featured boosted listings, a one-off purchase available even to free users. This is great. It fills the panic moment and it says, I need this filled in the next 2 hours, for example. So we're providing an extreme level of value to a business owner. All business owners out there, or even team members, you know how it is. If somebody calls in 8:30 at night and it's, 8:30 in the morning, it's, hey, I can't make it for a 9 o'clock shift. The ability to have anyone come on there and post a quick ad, it saves a day, and it shows our future value. And hopefully they'll go up to a higher shift, either starter or pro in the future. So as Claude says, the whole model in one line is free to find work, pay to be found faster. Workers never pay, ever, right? Employers pay for speed and reach. So let's see. For the free tier, does metering on a number of active posts feel right to you? Or would you rather meter on something else, like how many workers can see applied to a post? That's a really good question. I'm gonna put that out to the chat. Let me know what you think, because right now, I'm gonna go with what Claude's recommending, and we can always change it up later. My initial thought is the number of active posts feels right, but then the questions become, okay, what if someone goes on there and makes multiple accounts? And I don't think that's gonna happen for such a small thing, but you never know. But for now, I'm gonna go with their suggestion. So I'll say, I'll go with your suggestion. I'm reaching out to my students to get their feedback and buy-in. So please, let me know what you think, because your opinion definitely does matter. Now let's see what they're talking about. All right, so everything we talked about is now being turned into a spec that we can hand to the AI coding tool. And we'll do that in the next video. This video is getting a little long, so let's quickly summarize this and wrap it up. So day labor marketplace, one-page spec. So we're looking for a neutral Craigslist-style job board connecting hospitality employers with day labor workers for short-term shifts. The platform introduces the two sides. They transact directly. It's explicitly not a staffing agency. And folks, I need to reiterate that one more time, because this is a very critical and very important part. We do not, when you build your apps, you gotta be mindful of not expanding the scope into a place that feels uncomfortable. Right now, we have a restaurant business. We don't desire to have a staffing agency yet, because we don't have the resources, the time, and everything that it takes to do that. So we just wanna make an app that helps facilitate our restaurant business that much more. So the core problem that we're solving, hospitality employers need to fill short-term shifts fast and reliably. Existing options are texting around, temp agency, Craigslist. Who's still going on Craigslist? Come on now. Let's scratch off Craigslist. That's so 2000s, right? But anyway, they're too slow, too costly, or too unreliable of options. So the primary user for this first side is going to be the employer. Whoever has the urgent need, they have a time box shift to fill and a budget to solve it. Workers are pulled in by the visibility and upfront pay. So our customer here is the workers, the team members, the folks that need quick jobs, need a quick upfront pay from the employers. That's who we're catering to. So 3 very basic rules, reiterating once again: never employ or pay the worker, never charge the worker, and stay a pure connector. Most important thing for this app that we're building. Now the features that we're using are going to be the shift browse feed, which is going to show the shifts, shift detail page, show the details of the shift, post a shift form, very important, worker profiles, employer subscription tiers, featured/book listing, which is very important for the monetization stage. And now I don't expect day one for employers to begin paying us for higher tier levels. We have to build their trust. And we do that by saving the day a couple times when they need some good team members and they find them on our site. All right, features that we're never going to put on here: taking a cut of wages, handling any kind of payments, vetting or guaranteeing workers, which is tough because it's easy to be inclined to say, hey, this is a great worker, but no, that's not what we're doing here. Or scheduling or directing the work. That's not our job. So monetization, once again, we're going to do subscription tiers as we talked about, featured boosts, and referral add-ons. In the future, we'll do partner tool referrals. Hey, if you find another employer who needs our service, let us know, you'll get a cut. So this is a little bit more deeper. When it talks about the core data models, it talks about the users, the shifts, the application, rating, subscription. We'll get more into that when we actually start programming the app. And here's how they're talking about we're actually gonna build it. So we're gonna do the auth plus 2 user types. So for the employer and worker, we'll do the post to shift plus the browse feed. We'll do apply to shift plus contact exchange, two-way ratings, subscription tiers, post limit gating, featured boost purchase. This may all sound like another language, but don't worry, folks. We'll explain it as we go. Biggest thing now is that we really need everyone to lock in, get ready for what we're about to do here, but most importantly, comment so you can encourage the direction and the flow of not only this app, but the future apps that we do. All right, folks, it's been great. I'll check you out in the next video.